All systems go.
We're going live.
3, 2, 1.
We are
We are going live very soon.
Maybe we are live.
We are live.
We are live?
We are live.
Awesome. Well, since this is a live stream, we'll help break the ice with a little bit of an introduction so people can hop on and join the Hill Bro Show. We are doing this live Wednesday at this time every single week. My name is Ryan. You guys know Austin since he owns this group.
What is this time?
I guess we are a little late today. It would be 6:30 Eastern time, 5:30 Central, and 4:30 Mountain time. As long as that works for you, Austin.
Wednesday, 6:30 Eastern. Got it.
Does that work?
Yeah.
Perfect. So yeah, my name is Ryan. We are brothers. Austin's my older brother. We both live in Colorado, invest full-time in Pittsburgh. We are in the deep end right now as far as diving into multifamily real estate investment, and really excited about that. So today we wanted to, because we are both full-time and have been full-time for the better part of a year, myself a little longer than Austin, we wanted to come on and talk about our experience, share that with you folks, and hopefully get some feedback from you in regards to some synergies that you see, and would love to connect after as well if you'd like to have a deeper conversation about what we talk about today. So Austin, anything you want to add to the intro before we hop in?
Well, I just think that we're really creative with our titles, so I wanted to just drop it so I get the credit for it. We're titling this one 5 things that we've learned about real estate through our journey.
Wow, that is smooth.
Yeah. But I'm excited to be on with my brother. I did do some interviews prior to this on this group, as well as just, in the interwebs. And I had a great time. I met some great people, but it's pretty cool to hop on with my brother. Those folks who do know us, we certainly have a fun time together. We're brothers, but we're also friends, business partners, and we'll go through all that. But let's start with number one. We're going to go through 1 through 5 things we've learned. Keep this to about 20 minutes. We'll keep an eye on the comment section and whatnot. And then as anything comes up, we can address if there's anyone that's looking to ask any questions.
Sounds good. So Austin, title man, how to make a profit rather. Can you talk a little bit about that?
How I make a profit in real estate is Ryan actually posed this question. He's like, what are the biggest things you've actually learned? And I said the number one thing is how to make a profit. And I'm not saying like, oh, we're incredible at making profits in real estate, but the first thing you want to be able to do is analyze a deal properly, know what your inputs are going to be, and then know what's going to actually strike a profitable deal. And that's the biggest thing that I learned. We can go into so much detail about this, and I certainly want to, but wanted to see just first what your thoughts were on the whole.
Well, I don't have any thoughts, Austin. I have questions. I have a lot of questions. What do you mean? What can go wrong? Or what is an example of maybe other people in the industry that don't necessarily look too deep into the numbers, or maybe they glance over certain parts of the equation? They say when you buy real estate, that's when you make your money. And I think it's 100% right. And that's honestly how we run our business. But what are other people doing, or what are other people not doing that they should be doing in this case?
So my background is in engineering. And in engineering, you always have some sort of risk factor. If you're building a bridge, you want to make sure it can hold 5 times the amount of weight that it should have to hold. Don't quote me on that number, but you want to make sure a bridge can hold way more weight then it's going to be holding. And the same thing is applied to real estate. If you're doing a rehab, anticipate it's going to cost more money than what your original quote is from your contractor.
Double?
It depends on the project, depends on your contractor and whatnot. I wouldn't say double. I would usually throw probably a 15 to 20% contingency factor on there. That's probably a little high, but starting out, especially before you really dial that in, you want to be high on that. And then,
Seems reasonable.
yeah. And then, I mean, we've done some rehabs certainly, and one of them was spot on. The other couple have been higher than we thought, so it does vary. And as you continue to work with your contractors, you'll dial that in also, but unexpected things come up. Another one would be just overall repairs and expenses. So every deal we do, we take 15% right off the top of our income and put it into a separate savings account where we can just save that for a rainy day. And 15% to some seems egregious, but we'd rather be factoring in a 15% loss every month just due to repairs or vacancy than we would to say, yeah, this is going to run like a top, no vacancy, no repairs, and then our numbers are super thin. So factoring in for the losses, analyzing the deal with the losses, and then making sure your deal still works under the worst case scenario allows you to thrive in the best case scenario.
So what you're saying is, when you say losses, obviously I know what you mean, but what you're meaning by that is every single month when rent comes in, we take 15% off the top for repairs and vacancies, even if it's fully rented, doesn't need any rehab, or was just rehabbed. Am I understanding that correct?
Spot on, dude.
Wow. Okay. So not bridge, we're not doing bridge stuff. We're not 5 times, but maybe 15, 20%. Not only on the rehab, but also on the contingency each month coming in. What else, Austin, if anything?
I mean, the same would go for, I would say, for the ARV. A lot of people estimate the ARV after repair value to be higher than what it normally would be, or even accurate. But if your deal is contingent on an ARV being a specific amount and you come in under that, you could be in trouble. You might not be able to pull out all the money you needed to pay back your initial bridge loan. So make sure that you have some cushion in there for that situation as well. Appraisers can be tough. And oftentimes they come in lower than what everyone else would expect they would come in at, just because they're going to be more conservative.
Absolutely. Yeah, you don't want to get stuck holding your shirt there. If you're coming in under ARV and you're playing with other people's money, not playing with other people's money maybe is not the best word, but investing with other people's money, it definitely is very important for you to have that spot on, or not spot on, maybe even lower than what you were originally thinking it may be.
Yeah, having the luxury for a cushion in there is nice.
Okay, good deal.
And the last thing I'll say about this is there's a lot of different tools out there to analyze deals, and any of them can work. Just find one that works for you and make sure you truly know how it works, what the calculations are going on in there, what different metrics you need to hit, and what signifies a good deal in that specific tool that you're using.
So you're saying a lot of people out there maybe join masterminds or get linked up with real estate investors that have built tools. Just make sure you're taking a second look, third look, maybe even building your own tool.
Yeah, just make sure you know how it works. Don't be blindly putting in numbers, and if something turns green, you're like, oh, let's go after this one. You want to know why and be able to explain what's going on in that calculation.
Awesome. Sounds good. So be boring. Be boring in your calculations. And say no to deals if the boring deal is not going to work.
Yeah, I would agree with that, brother.
Thanks, man. Well, this is a very special moment in the Hillbro Show where we get to explore a bit of our personal side and get that out there a little bit. And, it may be truth, it may be a fable. It may be something that we make up, but it definitely is true. So make sure you listen up. But before we head into number 2, we're going to have a
What are you
segment.
even talking about?
We're going into a segment called the Hill House Story.
Hill House Story.
But basically what that means is one of us each week is going to tell a story about the other. As we grew up, we played a lot of sports together, so we have a lot of stories, maybe related to sports, may not be. But Austin, you have the Hill Bros story this week, so go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for setting that one up, cueing it.
I'm sorry if I confused you.
No, I was just messing with you. I was testing you, seeing how well you could stay focused.
Yeah.
You did good. So Ryan and I have a ton of stories. We could tell stories for probably a couple days, probably a year. We lived together for the majority of our life growing up till I left off for college. And we had some fun times. We certainly had some interesting times. And in this specific Hill House story, I'm looking to bring it back real young. So I'm older than Ryan, and just barely. I think we're 15, 16 months apart, something like that.
16 months.
16 months apart. And that amount of difference allowed me to have memories before Ryan had memories. And I know this memory is real because there's still evidence of it. So basically, I was, call it, I don't know, 3.5. Ryan is 2 years old. And Ryan just figures out how to write his name. Ryan. So
wait, Austin, how do you spell that?
RYAN. And that's quite literally how it went. Everywhere. I was just sitting back watching this dude, and he would take a big marker and just write Ryan right on the wall. It had no concept that that's not where my parents wanted that put. And it would crack me up. I didn't stop it, but I was old enough to know that that was not what you should be doing. And he just was not there. So if you go to our house, my parents thought it was actually pretty funny, and so left a lot of them. And you look in like the corner or down on the trim in the house, and there's just like a little writing of not little. Usually it was pretty big because little kids have bad handwriting, and he's just saying Ryan all over the house.
That's a very special older brother story, Austin. And who's to say that I'm not still doing that?
I would imagine your wife's probably saying, "Don't do that."
I'm not talking about my house. When I come visit you, maybe you should look a little harder at your house.
If you had a spa right now, I would be good. I bet you don't have one though.
Maybe this is something I could start.
I will. The next time I'm at your house, I will write my name.
Yeah, I like that. Just make sure it's on a piece of paper.
No, it's going to be on your wall.
Yeah. Don't do that. Anyways, thanks for the story, Austin.
Yeah. And that was your
Hill Bro Show story. We got to work on that.
You didn't say the same thing, dude.
I didn't say the same thing.
Hill House moment.
Hill House story. All right, back to the show. Understanding your network's goals. That's an interesting one, isn't it?
Yeah, I would say so. Okay, let's flip the scale here. Ryan, why don't you talk a little bit more about that? I think you were the one, and maybe it was me, I don't remember actually, who wrote this one down as their second most important.
Yeah. You know what I think is interesting, Austin, is no matter who you meet, when you meet them, you never know where that relationship can go, who they know, and who you can end up looking back in 5 years and saying, dang, that was a fun ride. Really good. Glad that I met that person. And I'm also glad that I was able to secure that relationship when we did meet. There's a certain part of me that could probably be more outgoing in networking situations, but I think that something that you and I both share and is near dear to our heart that we learned from our dad is really like just treating people right and understanding what their goals are and understanding how you can add value to what they're working on. So I think our journey has been very interesting getting into real estate. Just to back up a few years, Austin and I started a tech company back in 2018. We failed miserably as far as like a financial standpoint, but we had a ton of fun, and we're probably going to have to go back and work on that one at some point. Is a really good idea. But
it's called the buying platform, folks.
And not like the point of this story is not to say, oh yeah, we started a tech company and ended up moving on from it. But what we moved on to was real estate. We met a gentleman that lives in Denver. He's a good friend of ours that he was teaching real estate investors how to invest out of state at the time. That was back in 2019. So he said, hey man, I saw that your business isn't making any money. Maybe you should start buying some houses. Here's how you should do it. So Austin and I took his advice and started buying some houses in Alabama. And really the reason I'm sharing this is because that relationship, not only, he was in my wedding, it's something that we hang out a lot and we've built a valuable relationship outside of business, but we still talk about real estate, and half the stuff we do now is still because of him. And it was not a formal relationship or anything in regards. It was just friends having a few drinks and getting to know a little bit more about each other's industry that made that connection hit. Now I could go into like 10 different people that we've met over the last few years that had a huge impact on our business or vice versa. But I wanted to stop there, Austin, and let you plug in a little bit.
Was he just like, he put your arm around you after a few beers and he's like, Ryan, your business makes $0. Why don't you do real estate and make some money, buddy?
Yeah, he's like, if you ever want, he knew that I wanted to have, he knew I wanted a family and kids.
A girlfriend.
And, he was just like, hey man, go this way instead of that way.
He just took you and pointed you in a new direction.
At least for now. And it's been a bit of a journey since then too.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I remember we were excited to start a real estate business so that we could fund our tech company that made $0. Which someday down the road could still be a thing. But for now, having fun in real estate.
Absolutely. So talk a little bit about how you're understanding your network's goals and plugging that into what you're doing has had a positive impact.
Yeah, it's really kind of like you said, you never know who you're going to meet any given day, and you never know how that person could potentially fit into your business. And real estate, anyone who's in real estate and most businesses are built off of win-win scenarios. As long as I can win and you can win and it's legal, we have a situation here where we can both make some money. And that's why I think it's so important to just understand everyone's goals around you. And that allows you to fit in and both win. And that can be as basic as, if you're working with a wholesaler, that his goal is to, or her goal is to sell you a house. And as an investor, my goal is to find a great deal. So that's a very basic level. Like those are two obvious matches, but it can be much more minute as that, as well as understanding an investor's standpoint. You meet an investor who's looking to have a passive return that's very locked in for an 18-month period that's very specific. Put that guy in the back of your head. Maybe down the road you could find a seller finance deal where 18-month term makes exact sense. Call that guy up and he'll be waiting for you.
What about the 5 deals that we've funded with investors since the spring? How did that happen?
A lot of hard work brought us to that point, but it was kind of like what I'm talking about there. Every single investor that we used had a different criteria for how they were analyzing deals and what they were looking for in returns. It's not just, can I make money? It's how consistent is it going to be? What's the upside? What's the risk factor? And how long am I in the deal for? And I think of all those deals that we did, we were able to remember everyone's criteria and tap into those specific individuals when it came appropriate.
Awesome. So what you're saying is, I guess what I'm going to say is, if you don't mind, I'm going to say, if you're listening to this and you are a passive investor and we talk to you, or you end up talking to someone else that has a business where they're running syndication and raising money and you're thinking about investing, the investors that win the most in this business are the ones that ask the most questions, but also share as much as they can about what their specific situation is. And it's super important that we understand as much as we can about you so we can get you in the right deal. Like Austin was saying, the right timeline, the right investment amount and return.
You couldn't have said it better, buddy. Spot on.
I could have.
I could, but you couldn't
have. Good deal.
Yeah, fun.
And part of getting our investors really good deals and returns and making sure that it's a win-win scenario is, we talked a little bit about it on number one, but negotiating and analyzing and all that stuff. So everything is in fact negotiable. Am I right in saying that, Austin?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, if you look at even the last couple of deals that we purchased, do some math here, about 20. In the last 2 deals, we've knocked about combined $50,000 off of the purchase price.
And
during our due diligence period.
And those were smaller deals, right? I mean, 50,000 percentage wise.
Yeah, we're talking about total deal size of about 400.
Okay, so pretty significant.
Yeah, you do the math on that.
1/8.
There you go, bud. So yeah, 1/8 of the purchase price was knocked off in our last 2 deals alone. And it was valid that we did that too. I think, the reason that those deals got accepted is because during our due diligence, some certain things came up and we just looked at it where we wouldn't be as profitable purchasing it at the original amount with the information we now know. And the sellers agreed with us. So that's how we got those deals accepted. But you got to make sure you're on your game from a numbers standpoint. And you can really be powerful once you know that. And you know exactly what numbers you need to hit to make the deal work.
Yeah, it's as simple as, hey, Mr. Seller, look at these numbers that we came up with and standing firm on that leg that you created.
Yeah.
They call that a power move.
They call that a fake leg.
I don't know if that one landed, but yeah, I mean, it's definitely it's a numbers game, and it really is a numbers game. We'll leave it at that.
It's not even just a numbers game. It's math.
Yeah. Hey, Austin, have you checked the Facebook? I don't know if there's any comments.
I'm in there right now, and there's a lot of comments, but none of them are relevant, so I'm not going to really address any.
Okay. Yeah, those spammers.
Yeah.
That'll happen. Anyways, Austin, since we made that awkward, let's move on to number 4. I was going to rebuttal your Hill story, but yours was so good that I can't come up with anything to rebuttal, so we'll have to wait till next week.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but what was number 3?
Everything is negotiable.
We talked about that.
Yeah, did you want to share something else?
Nope. I feel like we didn't do like a firm number 3 is everything is negotiable. Maybe I was just spacing out.
I was waiting for you to do it now.
See, I knew I didn't miss it. So number
Yeah.
3, in retrospect, because we did talk about it, is everything is negotiable,
Right.
which is true.
You know what else is negotiable, Austin, is when we say number 3.
Everything is negotiable. Okay, what's number 4, bud?
So number 4 is one
Wait, sorry. What is something that you recently negotiated?
Oh,
We didn't prepare for this. I put him on the spot.
I think that I mean, something that I recently negotiated and ended up walking away from the deal because I couldn't get what I wanted or needed rather for myself and the business was it was a tax situation where the homeowner was in a lot of debt, and it was credit card related, it was lack of paying mortgage related, a lot of back interest and fees. We really could have made the deal work, and we were excited about where it was in North Pittsburgh. It was in a great neighborhood. And the piece of the negotiation that I was working on is we finally got in touch with the lawyer that was on the other side, that was the one that was collecting the debt, the one that was putting their foot down and saying, hey, we need this money and we need it now, or you're not going to be able to close on the property. So they needed to be paid off. My thought was, okay, let's get the seller, let's get myself, and let's get the lawyer on the phone and have a conversation around what we can do about the fees. So really any negotiation for me in that case is it's a discovery, right? You have to really understand the situation. That's why I wanted to talk to the lawyer. So you get the lawyer on the phone, and unfortunately the debt that was created in this situation was credit card debt, and not really something that is negotiable in the eyes of the collector. So I quickly resigned from that one and pulled out of the deal and said, hey, we're not gonna be able to get this one done, just because it didn't make sense after us paying off all of that debt.
If I remember correctly, it was credit card debt that occurred from a deceased relative after they had deceased.
Yes. So if we're going into the dirty details, the woman, the seller, the poor lady lost her mom, moved into her mom's house as the executor, and then somehow the credit card bill was run up after the passing. So that's why the credit card debt, once I figured that out, that's when I kind of pumped the brakes and said, okay, that's pretty reasonable that you'd want to collect that debt. So basically the moral of the story, guys, is and girls, is Austin's way better at negotiating than I am.
I think that having the ability to walk away is every part of a negotiation.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. You actually made a good point. All right, Austin, let's move on to number 4 if you're comfortable with that.
Yep.
I feel like you've been trying to avoid it a little bit.
I have avoided number 4 a couple times, but I, to be honest with you, I mean, you wrote the schedule here before we started. I don't remember what number 4 is, so I'm excited.
Yeah, this one is that a lot of people out there that are real estate investors can relate to. And the reason that passive investments are a reality and can be a huge added benefit if you not only have another job or have a lot of hobbies or volunteer a lot. Real estate, number 4, Austin, just want to clearly announce it here, is you can easily create another job for yourself and make zero money being a real estate investor if you're not careful. Does that resonate with you at all, Austin?
You learned that, you're saying?
What I'm saying is it could easily happen.
Yes.
There's plenty of people around us that are doing that.
Yeah. To elaborate on what you're saying, and let me just, I think I know where you're going with that. Like, there are some individuals who you only have so much time in a week. And if you look at what you're doing your time with, and you're looking to get real estate as a passive scenario, but if you're not hiring a property manager who is competent, and you end up not hiring a contractor who's competent, or decide to do your own work, you can be in a scenario where you're doing the majority of the work for the real estate, and you have to get it done because you're held by the creditors or whoever it is, and you've taken your full-time job, created another full-time job that's not passive necessarily. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, you're giving me ideas to talk about. I think for me, the biggest part of this one is it's notable, like what we've been talking about previously, they all take time. So having a legitimate process of math to figure out if a property is a good go or not, the diligence period, the management of the managers and those managers, like basically running a real estate business can be a part-time job, but it's definitely something that should take a lot of time if you're doing it right.
Yep. And to run this full circle based on number one, so often individuals can look at their pie necessarily. You could look at your income with real estate as a pie. And
oh, I love pie. Thanksgiving. Ooh. What do you think? Apple, Austin? Apple's always your go-to, right?
apple crisp I prefer. I know it's technically a pie. I think it's a pie, but that is the best. You can just put your ice cream right in it and stir it around.
So are you gonna bring an apple crisp to my
My
house?
wife just came home, so my dog's gonna be really excited.
We all know you don't have a dog, Austin, but that's okay. So apple crisp, Austin actually does have a dog. His name's Fred, and he's awesome.
Wicked cute. No, so what I was saying is, when you're going through and you're building your analysis of how to look at a deal, don't build in saying, all right, if I manage it myself and I do all the construction work myself, I can save 15%. And then you analyze a deal and you're able to make more money that way. I would say no. What you need to do is find a better deal where you can have someone do the construction, where you can find a property manager, and you're still profitable as you would be. And that way you're not spending your time doing those types of activities, and you're able to focus on finding the next one and growing your business.
Rock on, man. Knocking number 4 out of the park.
Ryan and I played baseball. We didn't have a fence in the right field. I was a lefty, so I never hit a home run in high school.
If only for that fence.
I would have had a couple dingers. I hit one going back to middle school. I remember I hit a bomb. You hit a home run, didn't you?
Yeah, that was in middle school too, though.
Yeah, I remember you getting one in high school.
We peaked.
All right, what's number 5?
Identify your superpower, not mine, yours.
Yeah, I remember writing that one down, and could not agree more with number 5. Do you want me to go on?
Yeah, can we talk about it?
Let's talk about it. This world is filled with all types of different people who have different abilities, and there's people that enjoy talking to people, networking. There's people that enjoy crunching numbers. There is so many different things that people find enjoyable out there. And what I would recommend, you're looking into real estate, is stick with something that you are passionate about, and you're going to be better at it down the road. And if you don't have the ability to be analytical, find someone who is, partner up with them. If you're not out there networking, that's not what you like to do. You prefer to be behind a computer network and researching deals. Find someone who's willing to network. You gotta look at what you're best at, hone in on it, and then be able to find solutions for the pieces that you are not bringing to the table.
I'm
I look
not,
at it like sports, if you're really good at throwing the ball, you're not going to try and be a receiver.
no, definitely not. Yeah, and a lot of it, I mean, identify your superpower, but also where you want to go. I think that's something that you and I are very aligned on, is what is our vision for the company. It's actually something that we talked about recently. And I think that is, for us, it's probably easier just because we're brothers and we have a pretty good pulse on each other's life in business and outside, because we go ski and stuff and talk on the chairlift and put our arm around each other and all that. But I think that it is really important to, and it almost seems obvious to me to say this, but it's crazy to me how many business partnerships and things that go wrong just because of someone had the wrong expectation or the wrong understanding of what someone else's expectation was or was supposed to be.
Yeah. So really number 5 with the superpower is know your superpower, but also know how to find someone else that doesn't have your superpower that can complement your superpower.
Yeah, man, we're entering the matrix.
Okay, buddy. What do you think your superpower is?
A really good question. I think that my number one superpower right now is identifying the right opportunity to spend time on. And I think that in business, being able to say, okay, this isn't working and move on is something else that I've identified as a superpower of mine, and really going full throttle on what is working.
I would agree with that heavily.
I also really like talking to people. So if you're listening to this and you want to chat, let's chat.
Yeah, I gotta shut your ear off. Curious what my superpower is?
Not really, but go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Invisibility.
Whoa, where'd he go? Is that a green screen? My goodness. That's not his real hair, folks. That is part of
Yeah, that's right. My superpower is growing some sweet hair.
COVID hair gone permanent.
That's what happened. I always had short hair. COVID happened, didn't get a haircut, and then I decided to keep it because my wife liked it. It looked cool.
Yeah. Anything else, Austin, that you wanted to share about our superpower, or what other people need to think about when identifying their superpower?
No, I think we covered everything that we wanted to talk to without going into extreme detail, but also staying at that good level where we provide some information, keep it light, and every single one of these topics we could dive into for hours. And I think we will be releasing other videos. I release a video at 6:30 Eastern time every Monday about myself doing a little 10-minute recap on what's going on in the market, something I saw with a deal, all types of different stuff. But I think it's in those little sections that we can also provide some value. And, you can almost pick through the Rolodex of various YouTube videos and find the one that really is sufficient for you. But you got to be careful who you're paying attention to and who you're listening to out there. There's some good advice. And then it's just while being knowledgeable enough, at least within real estate, to realize what's good advice and bad advice. There's a fair amount of people out there that are saying some stuff that I do not agree with. And it's just interesting. You think anything that's online, you can take to heart, like, oh, they're putting that out there. But a lot of them are just doing it to, I don't know what they're doing, just taking up server space. But that's my 2 cents.
Okay. I appreciate your 2 cents, Austin. And for all that are listening on Facebook, you could find us, or on our podcast, you could find us at The Hill Brothers is our YouTube channel. Yeah. But I think we should probably change it to The Hill Bro Show.
The Hill Bro Show. I like that better. Why don't we just make that official right here, right now, buddy?
Stamp. Hill Bro Show. Hill Bro
Bro
Show.
Show. Hill Bro Show.
There we go.
All right, I'm gonna
Sounds
do a
kind
full
of like
intro.
a Hill Bro Show sounds like a cheese or something.
Hill Brochetta.
No, that's not what I said. Hill Bro Show. Y'all take some Hill Bro Show. Would you like that heated up? Yeah, sure.
Stupid.
Anyways,
Cool.
we're rambling at this point.
Yep. All right, I'm gonna do a sick exit.
Okay. Yeah. And Austin, we forgot to mention, I also release a video every Tuesday at 6:30 Eastern.
Yes.
And sometimes it's a little later. So thanks for waiting.
Yeah. But he does great videos as well. Ryan's wealth of knowledge. So
Awesome. So this is your exit time.
anyways, here, folks, thank you very much for joining in and listening, watching the Hill Bro Show here with Austin and Ryan Hill. We had a great time talking today. Many laughs, lots of little nuggets dropped. And we look forward to talking to you again next Wednesday at 6:30 Eastern Time with the Hill Bro Show. Solid. We should get some sick music that we can play now. We'll do that. We'll cue it up next time. Get kicked off YouTube. Well,
Is it still streaming on? I think it's still streaming on Facebook.
oh yeah, everything's still going. We're live right now still. So I'm gonna cut it down.
What happened to the exit?